The second way that we're going to learn to solve quadratic equations is by the square root property. It says for the square root property, if u squared is equal to d, then u is equal to the square root of d, or u is equal to the negative of square root of d. In other words, if u squared equals to d, then u equals to plus or minus the square root of d. If u is an algebraic expression and d is a non-zero real number, then u squared equals to d has exactly two solutions. So let's use that information to solve example number 1. Looking at this problem for example number 1, 3x squared minus 15 equals to 0. To solve using the square root property, the first thing we want to do is get the squared term on the left by itself. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is add 15 to both sides. Therefore I have 3x squared equals to 15. So again, in using the square root property, get the squared term on one side by itself. The next step that I want to take is to divide both sides by 3. I want to have x squared to have a coefficient of 1 in front of it. Now I have x squared equals to 5. We learned in our definition of the square root property, if you have something squared equal to a number, that you can take the square root of both sides. When you take the square root of both sides, you end up with x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. So x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. So your answer would be the square root of 5 and negative square root of 5. In your homework, you would have to put the square root of 5 comma negative square root of 5, because really this is like two separate answers, positive square root of 5 and negative square root of 5.